everything was so peaceful up until I heard this news today. This was the last thing I was expecting. Last thing, the Dolphins have had trade discussions with the Pittsburgh Steelers about their lone Pro Bowl selection last season. Tight end Jonnu Smith, per league sources. Those talks came after Smith expressed an interest in reworking his deal that is scheduled to pay him 4.8 mil this year. With Smith seeking a new contract, Miami has sought a trade partner. Last season, Smith set franchise records for a tight end in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. Smith's preference, per sources, is to stay in Miami under a reworked deal. Man, so Jonnu Smith, he had a good year, and he told the Miami Dolphins, "I'm not giving y'all no discount, just because y'all believed in me. This year I showed y'all that I'm the best tight end in Dolphin history. I showed y'all that. So give me my money." That's what he said. That's what he said. I thought that Jonnu Smith, he was gonna be humble. He's gonna take that bag and clear it. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. But it seemed like he want another extension, even only after 1 year of playing with us. But I'm not even gonna lie. He put up good numbers. He put up the best. He put up the best numbers throughout his whole career. The best numbers with the Miami Dolphins. I don't know if he goes to the Steelers if he will be doing the same thing. I don't think so. I don't think so. Arthur Smith. I'm hearing that the offensive coordinator for the Steelers is very interested in Jonnu Smith because of his familiarity with him. He played for Arthur Smith before. But at the same time, bro, I don't think he gonna produce the numbers that he could produce with the Steelers in Miami. Tua, he's better than Will Howard. Tua, he's better than Mason Rudolph. At this point, Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if he's going to the Steelers. I don't know. I have a feeling that he could still end up with the Vikings. I'm hearing that his favorite team growing up was the 49ers. He's still trying to see if there's anything going on over there. But Purdy, he just signed his contract, so it don't make no sense what Aaron Rodgers is doing at this current moment, waiting. We all know that the best team, the best fit is the Steelers. But he still hasn't signed. Maybe there is a chance that Mike Tomlin go into the season with Will Howard and Mason Rudolph. Maybe. But Jonnu, please don't go to the Steelers. We do not want you there. You need to stay in Miami. If you had to trade Jonnu Smith, you got to give me at least a second round pick. Second or first round pick. I'm sorry, no third round pick. I don't care. I don't care. I need a second or first round pick. You've seen how productive of a tight end that he could be for your team. So you got to pay up. You got to give us something valuable, because Jonnu Smith, he like a tight end slash big running back. You know, he's like a tight end with that Derrick Henry type of size, kinda. So he's gonna be a very, very good piece. But at the same time, I do think it's just our offense that's just a great fit for him to put up the numbers that he did last year. On top of that, yeah, I remember towards the beginning of the year, he wasn't really doing anything until he just popped off, and we started using him ever since. We've seen how good he could be at tight end. So Jonnu Smith, he could have had way more yards last year, way more yards. So Dolphins, if you give up on Jonnu Smith, man, I don't know what y'all boys got going on, but that's a pure sign that y'all are tanking. Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey, like, y'all gotta relax, bro. Like, come on, y'all getting rid of all the good players. Y'all tanking again. That's what y'all telling us. Because I remember the day when they traded away Larry Tunsil. That was my sign to me, like, yeah, this team is tanking. This would feel like the same thing, us trading away Larry Tunsil. So you're showing the fan base a sign that you don't really care about this season if you trade away Jalen Ramsey this offseason and Jonnu Smith. I'm pretty sure Jonnu Smith want to stay in Miami, but they're saying it has to be a rework deal. So I don't know how much more they're gonna give Jonnu Smith, but we gonna see, man. We gonna see. We can't lose a guy like this, bro. I'm tired of losing good players. Tired of it. Look, I can relate. This is how I'm feeling right now, man. This is how I'm feeling. Jalen Ramsey traded. Jonnu Jonnu Smith traded. Raheem Mostert cut. Javon Holland gone. Calais is gone. Tyreek Hill stays. Greer has no idea what he's doing. Oh, man.
He can't keep getting away with it. He can't keep getting away with it.
I know, man.
He can't keep getting away with it. He won't.
Who gonna stop him? Who gonna stop Chris Greer? Who gonna stop him? Nobody. Nobody. And nobody fired him yet. Even after 20 plus years of not making the playoffs, nobody did nothing to Chris Greer. At this point, I think Chris Greer the owner of the Dolphins. Because nobody gonna do nothing to him. Even after all the mistakes that he has made throughout the years. Nobody. Pittsburgh Steelers barely have 5 receivers, but want 7 tight ends. Bruh, Jonnu Smith is not the play. So Steeler fans are not even feeling good about this move. You know, so Mike Tomlin, I don't know what has gotten into him. I don't know if he forgot that, you know, he don't have no quarterback. I'm not too sure, but Jonnu Smith wouldn't help the Steelers, like, get to that point where they're going to beat the Ravens. They're going to beat the Bengals. They really got to focus on getting a quarterback right now. You know, so don't try to trade for Jonnu Smith and your quarterback is Will Howard and Mason Rudolph. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know how much Jonnu Smith love Tua. You know that. Jonnu Smith is a great dude. It's one thing when malcontents are unhappy, but this one may sting even more in Miami Gardens. Hopefully they just work a new deal out. But that cannot be promised. That cannot be promised. Trade Jonnu Smith for a CB1. That don't sound too bad. That don't sound too bad, man. But it just depends on what team would be willing to give up their cornerback one for a tight end. I don't know what team that would be, but you know, put some suggestions in the comments. You know, a team that has a lot of cornerbacks and one that's willing to trade away a very good cornerback. Then yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind trying that. Jonnu Smith for a cornerback 1. Yeah, I would do that right there. I see the reasoning. You know, but you just got to get a tight end similar to Jonnu Smith to replace him. Then I would be okay with that. It seemed like the Titan fans, they still in love with Jonnu Smith. You know, Jonnu Smith should still be with the Titans till this day. Till this day. Green Bay, for Jair Alexander? I don't know. They got the Croft dude, the Kraft, and Luke Musgrave. So they got a lot of tight ends over there. I don't think the Packers would be willing to give up Jair Alexander for Jonnu. You know, we could give up a draft pick for Jair, but I don't think they would take our tight end off our hands. I don't think so. Like Dolphins, y'all really gonna let this right here go? Y'all gonna let this go right here? Like after this catch, we should have known that Jonnu Smith was gonna be a dog this year. We should have known it, bro. Good ball. Yeah, Jonnu Smith, he trying to get that bag before he retire. For sure, most definitely. He trying to get that bag. Most definitely. See, Jonnu Smith, he been putting in work this offseason. That boy stepping. Man, this guy out here working peacefully. He shouldn't have no worries not hearing trade rumors that he might go to the Steelers. Which I heard like his preference is staying with the Dolphins, so we're gonna see if they make that happen for him. We're gonna see. Good ball tracking. It look like Jonnu holding his breath when he run routes. You see, he holding his breath when he run routes. But that boy moving for a tight end, 250, he moving. Jonnu, we know that you're a good receiving tight end, but we want to see what you can do as a blocker as well. Hopefully, you're working on that. But shout out to Jonnu Smith putting in that work. But now we talking about trade rumors about this guy right here. Ridiculous. Always the Dolphins doing this. Always. Makes no sense to me, man. Makes no sense.
Honestly,
Here's a tight end from the Steelers camp talking about the tight end situation currently with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's hear what he has to say.
honestly, I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know until last year. Once we played them when I was in Denver, and they had 13, 14 tight ends on the field at one time. So I was like, okay, I can deal with this a lot better than where I was at.
13 tight ends on your roster? Why? Why? On top of that, they got good tight ends over there. They got Darnell Smith, not Smith, Washington. Darnell Washington, the guy from Georgia that they drafted. And they got Pat Fryermuth, the other tight end. Why do y'all need another tight end? You already got two solid ones. Even your third tight end is not that bad. So why do you need more tight ends, Pittsburgh Steelers? Or it could just be the fact of the offensive coordinator loving Jonnu Smith so much, he just wants to bring him back to see what they can do with him over there. First thing first, I mean, Jonnu Smith, he from Philly, so he might be willing to go back up north, but Jonnu Smith, just stay in Miami, man. Stay in Miami. We're going to try to make it work for you, man. Hopefully they rework that deal so we could keep you in Miami, because if we don't have Jonnu Smith, we don't have Jalen Ramsey, Tyreek Hill, he might go back to his old self, snap, and request a trade. That's what I feel like. Because Tyreek Hill, he can't be in this shit by himself. We got to have guys around him. But it seemed like we're getting rid of all the guys around Tyreek. That's what it seemed like.
Honestly, I didn't know until last year. Once we played them when I was in Denver, and they had 13, 14 tight ends on the field at one time. So I was like, okay, I can deal with this a lot better than where I was at. Honestly,
But why would you be at a place with 13, 14 tight ends? That pretty much means you're not going to get no playing time. But Donald Parham, I like him as a tight end, man. He a pretty big tight end, 6'8". So I think he could make this team. So they got Parham, they got Fryermuth, they got Washington, they got 3 good tight ends. So you telling me they're still trying to get another tight end? Why? So I don't think Jonnu Smith is out of here. It's big news that Jonnu Smith could be traded, but I think they're going to work out a deal in regards to his contract. That's what I think. No way he goes to the Steelers. No way. It just don't make no sense. It don't. Shout out to Crazy Dolphin. Good evening, DGE. Our Miami Dolphin fans, gang. Everyone here, come and hit that like button. Subscribe. Support DGE. Get your Dolphins shopping on DGE merchandise. Help your boy out. Let's go. Appreciate you, Crazy Dolphin. What's good, my boy? What is good, man? What is good? Like y'all must be out y'all damn mind if you think we're gonna let a guy like this go. Like Tua, he's not even in the game right now. He's not. Nice little screenplay. 1 yard made it into like what 20 touchdown. You know, there's a lot of tight ends that can do this, but I don't think there's a lot of tight ends that could score on this. One thing about Jonnu Smith, he does get those extra yards after the catch. As a tight end, he really does. Like he's not wasting his size, man. You're gonna feel every pound of Jonnu Smith when he catch that ball. We're trying to talk him. Get off me. Get off me. Who are you? You too weak, man. You too weak. We're not gonna be a physical team if you get rid of Jonnu Smith. I feel like he's one of the more physical people on this team. And he gonna establish that culture of being a tough team. We can't get rid of Jonnu Smith. We can't. We can't. If you get rid of Jonnu Smith, you're telling me that you're not serious about this year. And you're hoping for a quarterback next year. That's what you're telling me. But you never know. Maybe we need Jonnu Smith in there to help the development of Zach Wilson, to help the development of Quinn Ewers. I feel like Jonnu Smith, he kind of did help Tyreek Hill Tua as well, in regards to him being able to trust his tight end. Not having a tight end ever since Mike Gesicki. Jonnu Smith, he that first one, like, okay, we good with the tight end that we got ever since Mike Gesicki. And now y'all trying to trade him. Like, come on, Dolphins, be serious, man. Like, be for real. Eagles could keep all those good players on their team, but we can't. We can't. This is to a reaction when he see the news.
Shots here into the end zone. So take your shots.
This is to a reaction when he see the news of Jonnu Smith about to get traded. For real, man. For real. Tua. I don't know what to tell you, man. They're trying to get rid of your weapons. At first it was you don't have enough weapons. Now they're trying to get rid of the weapons that we got for you. It's crazy. I thought Jonnu Smith had a good year last year, but I didn't think that he had a year to the point as to where his value would have shot up this much, to the point that we're at risk of losing him. Via contract conversations. So I'm hoping those conversations are going well. I'm hoping so. If not, we're gonna have to find a replacement. But it's gonna be very hard to replace a guy like Jonnu. Very, very hard. Crazy Dolphin said, I'm for keeping Jonnu Smith. I am too, but if we gotta let him go, man, I gotta ride for this team. I got this hat on right here. I got this hat on. I got this on my wall. I got the other Dolphin thing right here. I just called for my season tickets today to go to the games. I spent some money on that. So it's just like a lot, bro, that I'm doing for the Dolphins, to the point where I gotta be a fan no matter what. If we good or bad this year, I still gotta show love, still gotta show support. I can't switch sides, man. It's DG. What does DG stand for? Dolphin Gang. So that's why I stick by. But Tua, Jonnu Smith, he might be gone. He might be gone, man. So we're going to see how good Tua could be without Jonnu Smith. We're going to see. Don't look confused now. Don't look confused now, Tua.
Okay.
Plus, on top of this, like, with Jonnu Smith, man, getting rid of Jonnu Smith is like getting rid of Aaron Brewer. Like, my opinions of Jonnu Smith and Aaron Brewer are the fact of those two guys being the perfect scheme fits at their positions. Aaron Brewer, I feel like he's a perfect scheme fit at center. Jonnu Smith, I feel like he's a perfect scheme fit at tight end. So those scheme fits on our offense, I feel like these guys are better on our team than any other team in the NFL. Any other team. And on top of that, we're not paying them a lot of money. I understand that Jonnu Smith wants more money, but at the same time, we can't get rid of these like cornerstone players that definitely fit your team. Aaron Brewer, we know he's safe, he's straight, but it's just the fact of Jonnu Smith, wanting that new money. He want that bag now. Shout out to Bombos, I see you in the chat. Shout out to everybody. Yeah, buy to a safety blanket. He turned into a safety blanket towards the end of the year. He might have to go back to Tyree, but like I said, I think Jonnu Smith, he's staying. Ain't no way he leaving. I don't think so.
I think for us as a team, we got a bunch of. I think for us as a team. So like you asked me what were kind of the expectations going into this offseason, and I kind of spoke individually, but as a team, I think for us is just to gel more, and just clean up a lot of housekeeping things. Let's get on that. Let's everybody get on the same page. You know what I mean? Let's understand what we need to do as a team health-wise. We got to handle that. We have to handle that part of it individually by making sure we're always available and being smart, putting the right things in our body. Doing as much as we can to control that. You know what I mean? And guys work, man. Like a great building. Guys are committed. You know what I mean? It's just that I think more we need to gel together. This off season, it's a lot of new faces that came in this year. So just that, like I said, familiarity of guys.
Bro, look at this guy just recording them, boy. Like, come on, man.
Being together, man, that'll definitely help going into the season. So, listen, it's big things ahead. If I'm a Dolphin fan, and I'm not being biased, but if I'm a Dolphin fan, right, and I say, okay, listen, we lost our quarterback for almost 6 games, our starting quarterback, right? We stay healthy, you know what I mean? We clean up a couple of things, you know what I mean, here and there. We got a real nice opportunity to be in Santa Clara next year.
Well, I hope you are. And
if I'm a Dolphin fan, I'm very optimistic. And I was an Eagles fan, and every year I was optimistic.
I don't know, Jonnu. I do not know. Now we're hearing trade rumors about you. So it just seems like you selling us dreams right now, fam. That's what it seemed like, dog. I'm not even gonna lie, man. So I don't know how to feel about this right here. I do not know how to feel. Besides the Jonnu Smith, man, him on the Dolphins, not on the Dolphins, it don't matter to me. Definitely.
We got a bunch of
my favorite tight end in the NFL. Most definitely. Right here we got Jonnu Smith at tight end. Let's check him out. Look at him taking handoffs. Like, what other tight end that could do this? Like I said, there's a lot of tight ends that could do this, but not Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith, he like the perfect tight end for a play like this. And of course, the Dolphins would be a team that would run a play like this. It's one thing to get rid of a player, but to get rid of a scheme fit, man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. If you want a few extra mil, I would give it to Jonnu Smith. He probably is worth it. You see that cornerback, he ain't want no smoke. Jonnu Smith, he would have trucked him. He ain't want no smoke. You see Jonnu Smith, he lowered that shoulder, but the DB got lower. But good job by Jonnu, man. Good job by Jonnu on this handoff. Jonnu Smith, he definitely going to get some rushing attempts this year, I think. Definitely will. But that's if he's on the Dolphins. That's crazy, man. Look at 66. I thought this was Solomon Kinley. Y'all remember him? But yeah, 66. He looked like Solomon Kinley to me. That old Dolphins guard that we used to have. That was overweight. Right here we have another play. No, wait. I think this is Storm Duck. Yeah, this is Storm Duck. But shout out to Jonnu Smith. I don't want to see him get traded, but if he does, so be it. So be it. But y'all let me know in the comments what y'all feel about this one. Let me know.